So, in today's class, we are covering the tutorial 3, application of the derivative. Tutorial 2, we talked about the derivative, how to find the derivative, what does the derivative mean. Today, we will talk about application of this derivative, how to apply the derivative in mathematical things. So we are going to talk about those points. First of all, we're going to talk about how to describe the graph of a function. إيش يعني how to describe the graph of the function؟ يعني the function is increasing, it's متزايدة, it is decreasing, متناقصة, it's concave up, it's concave down. We will talk about those terminologies and how to use the derivative to describe them. We will talk about what we call the first and the second derivative rule. And we will talk about the first and the second derivative now test. So راح يكون عندنا first, second derivative rule, first and the second derivative test, and last we will talk about the optimization problem. I'm hoping to finish this and this and this today, inshallah, and the optimization problem, I'm gonna leave it for the next time. So let's start first of all talking about those terminologies that describe the curve, how we describe the curve, how we describe the graph of the function. All terminologies is the increasing and the decreasing of the function. ايش يعني increasing؟ يعني growing up، يعني متزايد. ايش يعني decreasing؟ يعني falling down. Okay. Now for the line we know in the increasing line يعني كذا, decreasing line كذا. لكن here we are talking about a graph of a function, so the function is increasing if it goes up, the function is decreasing if it goes down. So what does increasing mean? We say that the function is increasing, the function f of x is said to be increasing if the graph of the function continuously rise as x go from the left to the right. If my function is rising when I'm looking from the left to the right, in this case I say the function is increasing. In another word, the function is said to be increasing if it happened and I have a point x1, I have a point x2, and x1 is less than x2, then f of x1 is less than f of x2. يعني لو ال x1 less than x2 يعني x2 is greater than x1, فلازم ال f of x2 is greater than f of x1. You can look at it here. This is my first point. This is my x1. This is my second point. Sorry, this is my x1 here. My x1 is here. This is my x2 is here. So this is y1 اللي هي f of x1, and this is y2 which is f of x2. So ال x2 أكبر من ال x1, لازم ال y2 is greater than ال y1. The function is increasing, we say. Now the function is said to be decreasing if the opposite happened. Now we say that the function is increasing at specific point C and one point C if it happened and it is increasing in an open interval around this point C. If I can find an interval around the point C where the function is increasing, as you can see. Okay, this is another example of increasing function. This function is increasing, right? The function is growing. The function is growing. From left to right, I look. I can see that the function is growing. So it is increasing at the point C. And if I take a small interval around the C, I can see in the function is growing up, صح? So the function is increasing at the point C. Now, decreasing function, يعني the function go less and less as I go from left to right. The function is said to be decreasing if it happens and the function continuously falls when x goes from left to the right. In another word, it is decreasing if I have a point x1, I have a point x2, and x2 is the greater one. Then f of x1 is greater than f of x2. Can you see? We have a switching. And عندنا ال x1 is less than x2. لكن f of x1 greater than f of x2. مع أن ال x1 أقل من ال x2 لكن f of x1 greater than f of x2. So the function is decreasing here. So you can see it here in this example. The function is decreasing. We say in it is decreasing at the point C. ليش؟ لأن it is decreasing in an interval around the point C. Also here, if I take a small interval around the C, I can see in the function is decreasing. So the function is decreasing at the point C. طبعا you have this question in your mind الحين أنا مطلوب مني أحفظ definition؟ طبعا لا. You are not supposed to memorize this. You just need to know what does increasing, what does decreasing mean. Okay? So this what does decreasing mean here. Now comes with this concept of increasing, decreasing. Number two, we have what we call the relative or the local maximum and minimum. Two ways to say it. ممكن نقول إن it is relative maximum minimum point وممكن نقول إن it is local minimum maximum point. The relative maximum minimum point is a point at which the graph changes from being increasing to be decreasing. Where relative minimum point is a point at which the function changes from being decreasing to increasing. Pay attention to those things. إيش يعني maximum? What does maximum mean? إيش يعني لما أقول maximum? Yeah, I'm waiting. إيش يعني maximum؟ أقصى، أعلى، top. يعني معناها it's a top. صح ولا لا؟ Yeah, the peak. Thank you for Ibana. The top, the highest point. What if I say the minimum? It means I'm talking about the bottom. Yeah. قاع. أتكلم عن قاع هنا. Okay. فالماكسيمم point, you can see it here in the graph. The function was increasing, and at this point it changed to be decreasing. صح ولا لا? It makes a max point. أعطاني قمة، أعطاني top. And here the function was decreasing, and at this point it flipped to increasing. فأعطاني قاع، أعطاني minimum. So this is what we call the local maximum and minimum point. ونلاحظ إن it is connected to the increasing and decreasing. You have to be careful. Later on راح يكون عندنا concavity, concave up, concave down. فالincreasing with decreasing give me maximum, give me minimum, and we call it local or relative maximum minimum. Why? لأن I may have a function that looks like this, for example. This point is a max. It's a top. It's a relative maximum. Relative maximum يعني في حدودها، في حدود البوينت. It's a maximum. And this one here again is a maximum. And this point here is again showing a maximum. This point مثلا is giving me minimum. This point as well is giving me minimum. فنسميها local يعني محلي maximum minimum point أو أسميها relative maximum minimum point. Sometimes for your information إن الماكسيمم والمينيمم نسميها الإكستريم. أحيانا أسميها extreme point. So whenever they mention إن it's an extreme point, you know معناها يا maximum يا minimum. Extreme point يعني يا قمة يا قاع. Good? So this is number two concept you need to know. First, increasing, decreasing. Second, عندنا a relative maximum or minimum, which have to do with the increasing and the decreasing. Also, we have the third concept اللي هو الابسولوت. Maximum and minimum. إيش يعني absolute؟ يعني مطلق. يعني overall. Yeah, that's correct. In another word, we can say it is the overall maximum and minimum. الحين we agreed إن أنا ممكن يكون عندي more than one maximum point صح؟ هذه maximum وهذه maximum وهذه maximum. The highest of them نسميها الابسولوت maximum اللي it's the one that is higher than all other maximum. We're gonna call it the absolute or the overall maximum or overall minimum point. Okay, so and from the maximum, the absolute maximum and the absolute minimum point, we have the maximum value, which is the largest value the function will assume in its domain. And we have the minimum value, which is the smallest value the function can assume in its domain. Okay? فالماكسيموم أعلى نقطة, the highest my function is reaching. The minimum, the lowest point my function is going to reach. You have those two examples. Let's start with the one at the left. You can check the graph. We have this point, this point, this point, all of them maximum. صح ولا لا؟ Huh? This. It's top. It's top. Which one is the absolute maximum? 2 5. فالabsolute value اللي هو 5. أعلى قيمة وصلتها الفانكشن is 5. And for the low, this one goes down. This one is a low value. But which one of them is the lowest? طبعا ال 4 and 1. So we say in the minimum value is 1. فنفرق بين point و value, ها? لما أقول لك إيش الماكسيمم point, you can say 2 and 5. إيش الابسولوت absolute maximum point? It's the 2 and 5. But when I say what's the maximum value, it is 5. And check here, the function is open. You can see that the function is open actually, huh? It's not stubbing somewhere. It's an open function, open end function. So the lowest one is the 0, 2. So the minimum value is 2. We don't have a maximum value. And the function is just going up. It's not stopping somewhere. You got the idea now? فهذا the third concept that we have. The third terminology اللي هو absolute maximum and minimum point. Now the fourth thing اللي هو connectivity. Concavity. The word concavity معناها بالعربي احنا نسميها تقعر. The function can be concave up. مقعر can be concave down. يعني مقعر لأسفل. So this is what we are talking here. We have concave down function. ليش صفر؟ ايش اللي ليش صفر؟ اللي هي اقصى قيمة وصلت لها الفانكشن اللي هي الواي. لما when we say the value, when we say the minimum value, I'm talking about the lowest point you are reaching. So the lowest thing I'm reaching is the y value. It is 2 actually. It's the y value. It's the y equal to 2. So the minimum value is a 2. Yeah, it's for y value. My voice is clear? Is my voice clear? Okay. So the concavity now, so as we said, the function can be concave up, the function can be concave down. We say that the function is concave up at a point x equal to a if there is an open interval around this a where the function f of x lies above its tangent line. If this is my function and this is the tangent line, my function is above the tangent line, so my function is concave up. It makes sense, صح? My function is above the tangent line. And we say that the function is concave down at a point x equal to a if I can find an interval around it where the function lies below its tangent line. So my function is concave down. This is the tangent line and my function is below the tangent line. So this what does concave up mean? The function is above the tangent line. Concave down, it's below the tangent line. Another way to say it, and we say in it's concave up if the slope of the graph increase as we move from the left to the right, and we say it is concave down إذا كان السلوب decrease as we move from left to the right. Okay, mainly we are using this, and it's above the tangent line. So this is the concavity thing, and we have the number 5 thing اللي هو inflection point. Inflection point بالعربي نسميها نقطة انقلاب. The inflection point is a point where the function changed from being concave down to be concave up. This point. Or it was concave up and it changed to be concave down. So the point at which the function changed its concavity is the point that we call inflection point. So this is the definition, and the inflection point is a point on the graph of the function at which the function is continuous طبعا, and which the graph changes from concave up to be concave down, or vice versa, يعني العكس. If it happened and the function is concave up and it remains concave up, it is not inflection point. Concave down and it remains to be concave down, it is not. Okay, so they are showing you here example of inflection point. You can see this graph. The function is concave up, but then the function changed to be concave down. You can see in the tangent line will go through the curve, and the function is changing from up to down. Line will cut it, will go through it. This is another example. Here it is concave up, right? And after the point it became concave down. The tangent line is going through it. هذا down and it changed to be concave up. So all of these are examples of functions where we have inflection point. So you have to be careful, and the inflection point is not the point where the function change increasing, decreasing. لا. It is where the function change its concavity. You get it? So those are the 5 things you have to know. Those are the 5 definitions that you need to know so that you understand this chapter. I'm gonna summarize the things a little bit. Let me summarize the things. We said in the number 1 we have increasing and the decreasing of a function. Yeah? In number 2 we say that we have the local or the relative max and minimum point. And we said إن هذا يجي من increasing with decreasing, صح? If the function is increasing and it changed to be decreasing, it is a max. If the function is decreasing and at the point it changed to be increasing, then I have a minimum point. And number 3, we have the absolute max and minimum point. We say that the absolute maximum is the highest point. Minimum is the lowest point. Or from there we have the maximum value and we have the minimum value. In number 4, we talk about being concave up and concave down. And in number 5, we talked about the inflection point. And we said that the inflection point is a point that is related to the concavity. جاية من concavity. Concave down بعدين صار concave up, it is inflection point. or concave up, then it changed to be concave down, it is inflection point. Is it clear till now? فهذه ال 5 concepts that you need to know. Is it clear? Good. Now, we're still just defining the things. We still didn't apply it mathematically. So let's start talking about how to know about the increasing, decreasing, how to know about concaving up and concave down. Using the first derivative, وهذا, this is why we are talking about those things. لأن we apply derivative عليها. فالفirst derivative rule state that إذا كان الدerivative at a point A is positive, no problem if you attend with any doctor you want. No problem. So if f dash at A is positive, it's greater than 0, the function is increasing at this point. وإذا كان f dash اللي هو derivative negative معناها the function is decreasing at this point. It makes sense. إيش يعني إن الديريفاتيف is increasing؟ معناها السلوب اللي هو الام راح يكون بوزيتيف للتانجنت لاين، معناها التانجنت لاين is increasing، معناها the function is increasing. صح ولا لا؟ فإذا الديريفاتيف at a point is positive, this means that the function is increasing at this point. Also إذا كان f dash negative عند البوينت معناها the slope of the tangent line is negative at this point، معناها the tangent line is decreasing at this point، معناها the function is decreasing. You can see it here. فهنا مثلا the function is increasing، شايفينها in the blue؟ You have the function in the blue here at the left. The function is increasing. The tangent line طالع. It's a positive slope thing. Okay, so it is increasing. Now check this one. The function is decreasing, as you can see, and this is the tangent line. It has a negative slope, so the function is decreasing at this point. Got it? So applying the first derivative rule, مثلا, for example, sketch the graph of the function that has the properties described. F at -1 is equal to 0. F dash is negative for all the x's less than -1. F dash at the -1 is 0. F dash is positive for the x greater than, this should be -1. For x greater than -1. Those are the information that they give to me. They want me to sketch the graph. يبغيني أرسمها. They want me to imagine how does it looks like. الحين the first thing they give to me إن f at -1 is 0. يعني قيمة الفانكشن at the -1 is 0. So I have a point which is -1x and 0y. Right? So I go and I sketch the point -1 and 0. This is the point -1 and 0. This is -1 and 0. So this is information number 1. Information number 2, they told me in the function has a negative dash when the x is less than -1. احنا اتفقنا ان اذا ال f dash negative, this means the function is what? Increasing or decreasing? Decreasing. Yeah, that's correct. معناها the function is decreasing. متى decreasing؟ لكل الx اللي less than -1. For all the x's less than -1. This is the x -1. So as you can see, I draw it as a decreasing function. It is like this. Also, they told me, this is information number 3, this is beneficial information number 3, إن ال f dash is positive لما ال x greater than -1. So اتفقنا إن ال f dash positive means that the function here is increasing. متى؟ لما ال x greater than -1. So this is x -1, This is x -1 here. So after the -1, my function is gonna be increasing. So this is how I estimate the function. يعني كذا أتوقع يكون شكل الفانكشن. طبعا the thing إن f dash عند الزيرو equal to 1 is not giving me إنها increasing or decreasing. It's giving me in it is minimum or maximum. As you can see, البوينت عند minus 1 و 0 this will be minimum ولا minimum ولا ما هي minimum? It's minimum. So لما ال f dash عند البوينت is equal to 0, it may be minimum point or it may be maximum point. و sometimes لا هي maximum ولا هي minimum, بس إنه whenever ال f dash and point x is equal to 0, this point maybe will be minimum, maybe it will be maximum, or not any. ممكن إنه not any، بس يعني maybe إنها راح تكون minimum أو راح تكون maximum point. Okay, فit happened هنا إن from the behavior of the function before and after I can see إن البوينت هذه طلعت إيش؟ minimum point. It is a minimum, it's a bottom. Okay. Now that was the first derivative rule. عندنا second derivative rule. A second derivative rule من اسمها it is to do with the second derivative. If the second derivative of a function is positive, the function is concave up at this point. With the f double dash is negative, then f is concave down at this point. Good. فال f dash عطتني increasing decreasing. ال f double dash now will give me concave up or concave down. إذا ال f double dash positive, it's concave up. إذا ال f double dash negative, it is concave down. And this is what we call the second derivative rule. And to summarize the things here, they are giving you this great table. إذا كانت f dash positive معناها increasing. إذا ال f double dash positive معناها concave up. So increasing concave up, this is how it looks like. إذا ال f dash positive معناها increasing. وإذا ال f double dash negative معناها concave down. فالfunction increasing or concave down, it looks like this. إذا ال f dash negative يعني decreasing، وإذا ال f double dash positive يعني concave up، فمعناها decreasing or concave up at the same time. This is how the curves look like. طيب ال f dash negative here and the f double dash is negative, for decreasing or concave down. So this is how it looks like. We still didn't apply it in examples لحد الآن. You have to wait. طيب. Let me summarize the things. We have the first derivative rule. And we have the second rule. The first derivative rule على ال f double dash. Sorry, على ال f dash طبعا. لأنها first. It is about the f dash of x. It says that لما ال f dash and point is positive معناها إنه increasing. The function is increasing عند ال point A. And when f dash عند ال A is negative معناها the function decreasing عند ال A هذه. Now the second rule works with f double dash. It says لما ال f double dash عند point positive means what? Means the function is concave up. And if f double dash عند ال point A is negative This means that the function is concave down. It makes sense ولا؟ Studying the f dash will give me information about increasing, decreasing. Study the f double dash will give me information about concavity. So if you go back here يقول لي إن لو كانت f dash positive راح تكون increasing، والf double dash بعد positive معناها concave up. فincreasing or concave up, how does it look like? It looks like this. This is how it looks like. ولو قلت إن f dash positive و f double dash negative يعني increasing لكن concave down. And so on. We go with the points. Is it clear now? وضحت؟ So this is one example. They are giving me some properties, asking me to sketch the graph. Sketch the graph of the function that have the following properties. أول شيء إن the f is defined only for x greater than or equal to 0. يعني for the positive part of x it's defined. 0, 0 and the 5, 6 are 2 points that are on the graph. The f dash is positive for all x positive. And the f double dash now is negative for x less than 5, and f double dash at 5 is 0, and f double dash positive for x greater than 5. So we start with the information one by one. أول شيء إن الفانكشن is defined for x greater than or equal to 0, so I'm talking about the positive part of x only. الpoints 0, 0, 5, 5 are there. This is my information number 1. عندي الpoint 0, 0. عندي الpoint 5 and 6. We sketch the 2 points that we have. This is the point 5 and 6, and this is the point 0 and 0. This is 5 and 6, and this is x equal to 5. Information number 3, they said in the f dash is positive for all x greater than or equal to 0. يعني for all the domain. What does this mean? ايش يعني ان ال f dash positive لل x is greater than 0؟ معناها the function is always increasing. Yeah. Now information number 3 is about f double dash. They said in ال f double dash is negative يعني concave ايش؟ down. لما ال x less than 5 فمش هذه ال x 5 the function is concave down. Can you see إن it is concave down ولا لا؟ ف less than 5 I'm gonna let it concave down. And the same thing لما greater than 5 the function is, this is information number 4, the function is concave up. So أكبر من 5 it's gonna be concave up, and this is how the graph looks like. You got it? So by just knowing those things, I can estimate how does the graph looks like. So to be able to apply those things in mathematical problem, they give me a function, they want me to draw it. How can I do that? We will need what we call the first derivative test now, and what we call the second derivative test. يعني usually they are not asking in the exam in draw the curve يعني, but they will ask you to study the properties of the curve, study the increasing, study the decreasing. So the first derivative tests go through steps. First of all, you have to find f dash of the function and let it equal to 0. The second step, you have to study the sign of f dash. إذا ال f dash change from positive to negative يعني كانت positive اللي هي increasing ها وصارت negative which is decreasing. This means I have a top. معناها the function is having a local maximum point at A. If f dash of A now, if f dash change from being negative to be positive, يعني it was negative and it became positive before and after the point, this means that my point is a local minimum point. If it happened in my function is not changing the sign at the point A or before and after the point A, it means it's not maximum, it's not minimum point. And to understand this, of course, we need to solve a problem. We need to solve an example here. The question said, find me the local maximum and minimum point of this function. We will apply the first derivative test. Let's do it. So they want me to find the local maximum and minimum point. So I know if I'm talking about local maximum minimum, I know and I have to think about the f dash of x. So the first step, we find f dash of x of the function. We differentiate the function. نشتقها. يلا, what's the derivative of 2x3? This is a practice now. What's the derivative of 2x3? It is 6x squared. What's the derivative of minus 3x squared? It is minus 6x. And what's the derivative of minus 12? It is minus 12. And what's the derivative of 5? It is the 0. So this is the first step. We find f dash of x and then we let f dash of x equal to 0. Let's make it in step 2 مثلا عشان I want you to follow those steps. So in step number 2, I'm gonna let f dash of x equal to 0. This implies in 6x squared minus 6x minus 12 equal to 0. Why we do this? عشان to find the 0 of f dash. Why we want to find the 0 of f dash؟ لأن those zeros راح يكونون local maximum or minimum. صح ولا لا؟ So I find the 0 of the function. Look at this equation now. This is from the first chapter. هذه second degree equation. We have to solve it. We have two ways to solve it, either by factorization or by using the rule. Yeah, excellent. We divide this by 6 to simplify it actually. عشان أنا أحب إن معامل الx square is equal to 1. So we divide by 6. So this will be x squared minus x minus 2 equal to 0. Now solve it. Now let's solve it. Is that correct? Yeah. We can factorize this into x fil x, and we have a minus 2 and a plus 1, صح? Yeah, that's correct. Now 2 things equal to 0. This means إن يا إما إن x plus 1 is equal to 0, or إن x minus 2 is the one that equal to 0. From here we get x equal to minus 1. And from here we get إن x equal to 2. Great. الحين أنا عندي 2 points. ال 2 points هذه maybe maximum minimum. يمكن يكونوا maximum and minimum. Maybe not. Step number 3 is we say study the sign of f dash x. ندرس إشارة f dash x before and after ال x minus 1 وال x2. How we do this? We draw the number line. We plot the points. This is -1 هنا and this is 2. صح كده؟ الحين الماينس 1 هذه 0. الماينس 1 a little bit before the 0 and the 2 is after the 0. So this will cut my number line into 3 parts. And we say in we will study f dash x sign. راح ندرس إشارة ال f dash. We are studying the sign of f dash here. Let me highlight this. كيف I'm gonna study إشارة ال f dash? Choose a point before -1, -2. Choose a point between -1 and 2. I'm gonna choose the 0. Choose a point after the 2. I'm gonna choose 3. اخترت لي نقاط. نقطة less than -1. Point between -1 and 0. Point after the 3. Are you getting that? Why I cut my line كذا؟ لأن I got the 2 point اللي هو -1 و 2. فال-1 و 2 سووا لي cutting. I take a point before, I take a point between, I take the point after. أنا قاعدة أدرس إشارة ال f dash. So we find f dash عند ال -2. We find f dash عند ال 0. We find f dash at 3. This is f dash. This is f dash. We got it in number 1. So f dash at the -2 is equal to 6 في -2 square في 4 -6 في -2 -12. Calculate this for me please. احسبوا لي إياه. Now at the 0 this will be 6 0 -6 في 0 -12. And at the 3 this will be 6 في x square اللي هي 9 -6 في 3 -12. I need those values please. This one is the 24 you said? هذه 24. What about this one? It's -12 طبعا. What about this one here? This one is a 24. This one -24 you said? ما يصير. What about the first? هذه 24. This one's it's a 24. صحيح هذه 24. What about this? The last one? #24 as well. No problem. So what I care about إنها it's positive ولا negative. So this one is positive as you can see. This one is negative. This one is positive. So we come back here. At the -2 it is positive. معناها it is increasing. At the 0 it is negative. معناها it is decreasing. At the 3 it is positive, which means it is increasing. So now I know إن الفانكشن من -infinity لحد -1 is increasing. From the 2 إلى infinity it is increasing. When decreasing? Decreasing بين -1 و 2. طيب what's the maximum? Yes, عصام. Do not substitute with the one after you simplify. نروح للoriginal one. طبعا it will affect the answer. Substitute في ال f dash نفسها, not f dash after you simplify. Do we have a maximum point هنا? Yeah, I have a maximum point. I have a relative maximum point عند ال -1 لأنها it is increase decrease فتوب. ها شايفين كيف إنه صار عندي توب؟ And I have a minimum and the 2 and it was decreasing and it became increasing, right? So we remain with one more step. Step number 4. Now, step number 4. Those are the 2 points I get. I get x equal to -1, and I said it's maximum. And I get the other x, which is x equal to 2. It was 2 ولا -2, yeah. And I said this point is a minimum. الحين if I'm talking about a point لازم أجيب الy part. I need the y. What's the y? It is f at the -1. And what's the y of 2? It's y equal to f at 2. So we substitute في function f, في original function f. So at the -1, this will be 2 في -1 -3 في -1 square اللي هي 1 -12 في -1 plus 5, and we get the answer. And at the 2, it will be 2 في 2 to the power 3, which is 8, -3 في 2 square, which is 4, -12 في 2 plus the 5. We do the calculation طبعا to get the answer. What's the first y here? So for x equal to -1, what will be the y? And for x equal to 2, what will be my y? يعني كل واحد قاعد يعطيني answer. It's 13 minus 12 minus 13. What is it? هذه 12. Mute the mics please. ايش يعني مرة 11 مرة 12؟ It's a 12 and minus 15. 12 and this one is minus 15. So we have 2 points. It's -1 and the 12, which is a maximum point. And we have the other point, which is 2 and -15, which is a minimum point. Mute the mics, please. So this is how we study this, the local maximum minimum, the increasing and decreasing. Number 1, we find f dash. Number 2, we let f dash equal to 0. Number 3, we study the increasing, decreasing before and after. I will get from step 2. From step 2, I'm gonna get 1 point, 2 point, 3 point, depends. I'm gonna study the increasing and decreasing at before and after this point. بعدين I will decide إذا كان عندي minimum أو maximum. And in number 4, لازم I go y part of my point. This is the x. What will be the y? كيف أعرف ال y? I substitute في original function. I substitute في f of x نفسها. Be careful. Okay. I square it هذا هنا. I square it. مش it is square. So if I square -1, it's 1. Clear? So those are the basic steps. Now in the slide, it is solved already. جاب ال f dash. They simplify it. They didn't show and they make it equal to 0 and then they get to point x is -1 and x is equal to 2. They study the sign of f dash before and after, increasing, decreasing, increasing, which means this is maximum, which means this is minimum, which means in عندي local maximum, which means عندي local minimum at those points. And if they want me to draw it, this is the first point and the second point. هذه -1 and 12. and this one is a 2 and minus 15. فالfunction increasing, decreasing, increasing again, so almost it looks like this. واضح؟ Yeah, any question? We have examples. We have more of those examples, but first let's talk about a second derivative test. الحين that was the first derivative test. أجيب f dash، أخلي f dash equal to 0. I get a point. بعدين I study the sign of f dash. A second derivative test, again it will lead me to local maximum minimum، لكن using f double dash. إذا ال f double dash and point is negative معناها the point is local maximum. وإذا ال f double dash and point is positive معناها ال point is local minimum. It makes sense. الحين احنا قلنا ان لما ال f double dash راح تكون negative معناها concave up ولا down؟ concave down ولا؟ ايش يعني concave down؟ يعني كذا. يعني البوينت هذه جاية توب، صح ولا لا؟ ف it is maximum. الفانكشن concave down، ال f double dash negative، لكن البوينت maximum. ننتبه ما نتخربط بالفكرتين. الحين لما ال f dash positive معناها increasing، لما ال f double dash عند البوينت is negative معناها it is concave down، معناها البوينت جاية top، معناها it's maximum point. والopposite if I have ان ال f double dash positive معناها my function is concave up. It looks like this. فالpoint is giving me قاع. It's giving me minimum. It's a local minimum. So this is what we call the second derivative test. Okay. Let me summarize this. If they give me a function which is f of x, I will find f dash of x. I'm gonna let it equal to 0. This will give me points. Say point x1 مثلا. I have two ways. إما I'm gonna use the first derivative test, or I'm gonna use the second derivative test. What's the first derivative test? We draw the line, we study the sign of f dash x. إذا كان positive بعدين صار negative معناها the point is maximum. إذا كان negative then it became positive معناها the point is minimum. Okay, but say this is your point, this is your point x1. We study the sign of f dash. فهذا the first derivative test way. The second way إنه we study the second derivative test. أنا جبت ال f dash, I got the point f x1. So we find f double dash عند ال x1. إذا ال f double dash عند ال x1 positive معناها my point is minimum. إذا ال f double dash عند ال x is negative معناها concave down معناها my point is maximum. The two ways are to find the maximum والminimum point as you can see. الطريقتين عشان الماكسيموم والمينيموم. الفيرست ستيب اللي هي الاف داش نخليها زيرو مشتركة ما بين التو ويز. بعدين ننقسم إذا أنا حابة أستخدم الفيرست ديريفاتيف ولا حابة أستخدم السكند ديريفاتيف. If I want to use the first derivative, I will draw the line, I will study the sign before and after. If I want to study the second derivative, I'm going to substitute the point inside the second derivative. الحين sometimes we use the first derivative and it fails. يفشل the first derivative. So we have to go and use the second derivative test. Okay? And we will see example now about this. أحيانا the first derivative ما يعمل, so I have to go for the second derivative. And both of them will give me the minimum and maximum point. You can see the screen, everything ولا everything is clear? طيب. It's optional يا ورود إن to use the first ولا second. أحيانا أنا أحب أستخدم الأول أحيانا الثاني. Sometimes I use الأول and it fail. فأروح أستخدم الثاني. Okay? Sorry, أحيانا نستخدم الثاني and it fail. أستخدم بعدين أروح أستخدم الأول. The second is easier. أسهل. يعني I just find the f double dash, I put the point inside it and I check. Okay, so it's kind of easier we say. الأول لا ما يفشل, يبين لي على طول إنه ما في. Sorry, يعني إن إحنا we start usually with the second. If it fail, we will do the first. الأول ما يفشل. الأول will show me exactly what happened. راح يوريني ال increasing with decreasing, it's not gonna fail. So let's see example here. Locate all possible relative extreme points on the graph of x3 plus 6x squared plus 9x and check the concavity at this point and use this information to sketch or graph the function. I'm gonna delete this and let's do it in here. Let me clear up the things. So here's the question. Locate all the possible relative extreme point of this function. So this is my function. My function is f of x equal to x to the power 3 plus 6x squared plus 9x. We will find f dash of x. What is f dash x? It's a 3x squared plus 12x plus 9. I'm gonna find f double dash of x as well. أحتاجها. This equal to 6x plus 12. صح كده؟ This will be my first thing. This is f dash and f double dash. A second step, I'm gonna find or let f dash x equal to 0 so that I get my stationary point, my critical point, my point where the function may be minimum or maximum. صح؟ نسميها critical point or stationary point. So I'm gonna let f dash x equal to 0. This means in 3x squared plus 12x plus 9 is equal to 0. How can I solve it? I'm gonna divide everything by 3 to simplify it. I can do this. So this will be x squared plus 4x plus 3 equal to 0. Okay, so let's factorize this now. We factorize it into x في x and we factorize the 3 into 3 في 1 equal to 0. This will give me 2 points. البوينت الأولانية x minus 1. The second point is x equal to minus 3. We got our 2 points. Maybe not, those points are going to be critical points. So in step number 3, I'm going to use the second now derivative test. ايش يعني the second derivative test؟ يعني I'm gonna find f double dash of the minus 1. I'm gonna find f double dash of the minus 3. Where is f double dash? It's this one here. So f double dash at the minus 1 is equal to 6 في minus 1 plus 12, and at the minus 3 it is 6 في minus 3 plus 12. Give me the answer, please. What will be the answer here? X. What will be the answer here? Minus 18. It will be minus 6. صح؟ صح كده؟ Yeah. So this one is greater than 0. This one is less than the 0. ايش يعني greater than 0? Minimum or maximum? Minimum. وايش يعني less than 0? Minimum or maximum? It's max. It's a maximum point. So at the point here I have a minimum, at this point I have a maximum point. Now moreover I need step number 4, the y part. لما x is equal to minus 1 I need to find the y, which is f at minus 1. And when the x is equal to minus 3 I need to find the y, which is f عند minus 3. Where is the f? Here is the f. هذه الf. Be careful where you are substituting. So I'm substituting في f itself. So this will be minus 1 power 3 plus 6 في minus 1 square plus 9 في minus 1. And this will be minus 3 power 3 plus 6 في minus 3 square plus 9 في minus 1. What's the answer? Mariam, are you sure this one is minus 4? What about here? هذه بتكون 1 6 1 7 and I doubt it. Are you sure? هنا 6. Let me see. It's minus 4, yeah. And this one is a 0. Yeah, and this one is a 0. Good? So we got 2 points. In minus 1, well, y is minus 4, and the minus 3, and the 0. And we agreed in this point is minimum point, and this point is a maximum point. Moreover, هذه minimum, لكن the function is concave up عندها. مش إنها it's positive if double dash. وهذه maximum, but the function is concave down at it. So now I know in the function concave up, concave down, عندي minimum وعندي maximum point. Okay, so this answered the question. قال لي in a study if you have any relative extreme, وأنا قلت لكم extreme معناها max or minimum, ها? Maximum or minimum point. By finding f dash, letting f dash equal to 0, we get the 2 points. Then we use the second derivative test, which is easier if it works. جبنا second derivative, we substitute the 2 points inside it, minus 1 and the minus 3. We get in this point is minimum, we get in this point is a maximum point. And step number 4 طبعا we need the y part by substituting في ال f نفسها. Clear? طبعا it's all solved here. It's all solved. The last part, since I know in this point اللي هو minus 3 0 is maximum, it's like this. and I know this one is minimum. So it's like this. Join everything together, and this is how the curve looks like. Okay? Yeah, I know a lot of information, but it's gonna get easier, inshallah. Okay? I'm gonna solve more examples حتى يعني and I want you to finish the slide first of all, but then I'm gonna show you a lot of examples that will simplify this idea. This is one of the most important things, by the way. يعني في الفاينل كذا لازم يكون في question about study the increasing, decreasing, concave up, concave down, those things. Now, the test of inflection point, can somebody let me know or remind me, what does inflection point mean? Yeah. Here is the inflection point now. Can somebody remind me, what does inflection point mean? الحين we know how to study increasing, decreasing, we know how to study maximum, minimum, we know how to find the concave up, concave down. Inflection is the one that I don't know about لحد الحين. فالinflection point, it's linked with the concavity. قلنا إذا concave down and concave up, it is inflection point. ولا concave up, بعدين it became concave down, it is inflection point. So it has to do with the concavity. So it has to do with F double dash. The points that could be inflection point are the point with F double dash equal to 0. So thank you for your definitions here. Farah, Jude, Khadija, thank you for Isam as well. So thank you for the answer. The inflection point is the point where the function changes from being concave up to concave down, or from being concave down to being concave up. It has to do with the concavity. We find the inflection point by letting f double dash equal to 0. Be careful. لما I let f dash equal to 0 راح يطلع sorry f dash of x equal to 0, I will get maximum or minimum point. لكن when I let f double dash of x equal to 0, I will get the inflection point. And we study the sign of f double dash. The study will be the study of sign of f double dash of x. So let's check example على طول. Sketch the graph of this function. If I want to sketch the graph of the function, I need to know about the increasing, decreasing of the function. I need to know about the concavity of the function, and I need to know about if there is any inflection point of the function. I need all of this to draw the function clearly. So هنا بس قال لي sketch the graph of this function. So they go through the steps. أول شيء they will study the increasing and decreasing. Okay. Second, they will study the concavity and inflection point. So let's see. First, I need f. I need f dash. I need f double dash. F dash of the function is 3x squared minus 1. F double dash of the function is 6x. هذا الفirst step. The second step is by letting f dash x equal to 0. F dash x is 3x squared minus 1. 3x squared minus 1 equal to 0. يعني 3x squared equal to 1. يعني x squared equal to third. يعني x is plus or minus the root of third. الحين you can find it with the calculator, or you can just write it as a plus or minus root of 3 على 3. Okay? Can you find this with the calculator and let me know what does this equal to? أعطوني قيمته. What is the value of this one? Point 5, 7, and 7. So you can do this, or you can just root of 3 over 3. Okay, so I got the 2 points. Now check the increasing and decreasing. كيف راح أشيك increasing و decreasing؟ we use الايش؟ second derivative test. We're gonna put those values when في ال f double dash. Yeah, so this is step number 3. Here is step number 3. This is actually they find the y of the point. They find the y of the point, which is f of root 3 على 3. This is the value, and the y of the minus root of 3 على 3 is this value. Keep it to the end. Number 3, we want to study the second derivative test now. We find f double dash. We say it's equal to 6x. So f double dash of root 3 على 3 is 6 في root 3 على 3. It is 2 root 3. What we care about mostly, إنها positive ولا negative? It's positive. معناها minimum point. Now f double dash of minus root 3 على 3 is 6 في minus root 3 على 3. It is minus 2 في root 3. Positive or negative? It's negative, which means it is a maximum. Now إن عندي 1 point minimum وعندي 1 point that is maximum. The 2 points are root 3 over 3 and 18 minus 2 root 3 على 9. We say this point is minimum, and the second point is minus root 3 على 3 and 18 plus now 2 root 3 over 9, which is a maximum. You don't have to complicate yourself with those roots. عادي إن if you calculate it as a decimal like 0.577 and you use it as a 0.577. So we have a minimum point, we have a maximum point. So finish our first part of the work. The second part, I want to study the f double dash. So in here, we are gonna work with concavity and inflection point. To do this, I find f double dash, I make it equal to 0, I get a point. This point may or may not be inflection point. This is what they did. This is f double dash equal to 0. And f double dash is 6x, so 6x equal to 0. This means x equal to 0 فهذه البوينت اللي may be or maybe not inflection point. The y of this point is if at 0 it's equal to 2. So my point is 0 and 2. هذه may or may not be inflection point. Now, how can I do this, or how can I be sure about this? We study the sign of f double dash. So we draw the number line. The point is x equal to 0. And we say that we will study the sign of f double dash of x. Choose a point before the 0, minus 1. Choose a point after the 0, it's a plus 1. So we find f double dash and the minus 1. We find f double dash and the 1. This will be 6 fil minus 1, it's equal to minus 6. This will be 6 fil 1 equal to 6. Let me clear this. So if double dash and the minus 1 is negative, it's less than 0, معناها the function is concave down. If double dash and the 1 is equal to 6, positive, معناها the function is concave up. Come here, at the -1, it's concave down. So we draw in it is concave down. After the 0, it is concave up. So the function change من down إلى up. So this point is inflection point ولا لا? At the point 0 and 2. It's inflection point ولا لا? Yes, it is inflection point. So this is how we study the inflection point. From here, all هذا حق inflection point. Study of inflection point. We take f double dash, let it equal to 0, get the point, get the y of the point, and then study the sign of f double dash before and after this point. This will give you an idea if this point is inflection point or it's not an inflection point. So this is how they draw it. هذه البوينت 02 وال02 احنا قلنا انها inflection point, ف it is concave down before and concave up after. This is one point اللي هي minus root of 3 على 3, and this is the second point which is root of 3 على 3, and this is how we estimate the function looks like. Okay. So any question here? Okay. So we have this example here. We still have 2 examples. You want to continue or we keep it for next time? نخليها next time? Let's have a small revision now. Yeah, I know. Okay. I'm gonna do same as I did last time. أنا حليت معاكم المرة الفايتة صح؟ I'm gonna stop the record now. خلاص, this is enough as a recording and let's have an open discussion now.